Hey everybody, I'm Patrick and this is Rocky Mountain Style. If this is your first time here, welcome, and if not, welcome back. I really appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to click on this video today. And today we are talking about a boot that I've been excited to tell you about. I wanted to make sure I wore it enough before I made my initial impressions video, and that boot of course is the Caswell Shaw in Horween Whiskey Predator leather. So let me tell you a quick story about Caswell and how I got turned on to him. So a buddy of mine named Chris had been chatting me up, going back probably 10, 11 months, close to a year, about Caswell, saying, hey, these are great. The guy who runs this company is great. Boots are made great. You got to give them a try. So at the time, most of the ready-to-wear boots were the Lisbon model in leathers that were fine, but I wasn't really in love with. So I always just sort of put it off saying, hey, I'll keep Caswell in mind. When they come out with something that really strikes me, I'll pull the trigger and see how it goes. So fast forward to about 4 weeks ago or so, and I'm looking at Caswell again, talking to my buddy Chris. He's telling me about some of the new things going on. And so I see the Shaw boot. And I think, all right, now that's a very pretty silhouette. I really like how it looks from the side, from the top, from the everywhere. Just a very well proportioned boot, I thought. And the two leathers that were available, again, kind of didn't really strike my fancy, but I was intrigued enough by the boot. I sent Caswell and the owner, founder Kevin, sent them an email and said, hey, do you have anything coming up in a different leather that may interest me more? And Kevin said, yep, we have the Horween Whiskey Predator coming up. And I think it was, like within a week of me emailing, he said, we've got it coming up that quick. And I said, sweet, when that hits, I'm going to buy it. That's exactly what I did. So these were $359.99. I bought them right before the Black Friday sale hit, and Kevin, being the good guy that he is, noticed that and sent me like a $30 gift card for a future purchase because I missed the sale by a little bit. So I really appreciated that. Just examples of great customer service are always heartwarming to me. He didn't have to do that. I didn't ask, but he did it anyway, so it's really cool. So I'm going to talk about what I think about these boots, some of the specs, some of the intricacies, and then I'm going to make some bold claims about this boot. So please stick around and we'll get into it. Thanks. Okay, so I want to talk about the leather first because I think that's where this boot gets interesting right away. When you look at the pictures and when you first see the boot in person, this Horween Whiskey Predator seems kind of like just a plain Jane, medium brown, smooth, sort of dressy leather, right? And upon first inspection, having it in hand, that's exactly what I thought. And I was reading the description. It talks about the leather being rugged and things like that, and I thought, yeah, I don't really see it. However, as I've worn the boot, even without getting scratches on it, it has become a lot more rugged, and it's hard to really describe. There's not a lot of sheen to it, not a lot of natural sheen to it. It's not like a Chrome Excel where there's just that really nice sheen that exists at all times. It's a little bit closer to being matte. When the boot stretches out, instead of there being oil displaced, the pull-up effect, there's really none of that, but it almost makes the leather just look like it ages quickly. I'm struggling to describe it, as you can tell. So again, you'll see in the unboxing video, which I've tacked on to the very end of this, I did that when I first opened the boot several weeks ago. I was calling it scuffing along the toe here. I said, oh, well, leather looks good. There's a little scuffing on the toe. Turns out that's not really scuffing. That's just kind of how the leather develops. It gets these lines and these marks and these striations from use that make the leather look more old, worn, and weathered, which I think is pretty cool. I've never had a leather exactly like that. And after only, I think I've worn these 6 or 7 times so far, they have changed a reasonable amount from when I first opened them, which I think is cool. It makes me happy to wear them each and every time I put them on because I just, I'm excited to see where they go. So don't fall into the trap of thinking this is a dress boot, even though in the photos and they kind of look a little dressy, the leather's kind of smooth. It will become a lot more rugged as time goes on. And also, the laces lend towards that dressy look as well. I think after I do this video, since I've worn them for the initial review, I'm probably going to change out the laces to something maybe a little more chunky because these are pretty thin, pretty dressy laces. Okay, let's talk about some of the other specs then now that we talked about the leather. The sole is a true day and night sole. It's not a proprietary copy like a Thursday or a Grant Stone will do. This is my first sole by the actual company. I don't know if it's day night, day in night. There's that extra inflection on that first I that I've heard day and night, but it's made in Britain, and I can't tell a lot of difference between it and the copies that I've worn from Grant Stone and Thursday. I want to say this one's a little bit softer. It's not quite as hard as the others, which would make me think it'll probably wear out slightly quicker, but be slightly more comfortable in the process. So either way, it doesn't bother me. I have enough boots that I cycle through that it's going to take me a very long time to wear through any reputable outsole. There is a leather midsole. There is a leather welt, of course, 360 degrees stitched. And the stitching's really good, I think. I inspected both boots. I think the joins are pretty good. The stitching's good. I didn't find any QC issues of any kind with either of my Caswells here. And again, the stitching on the bottom here, joining the outsole to the midsole and the welt, is very good. It's not listed on the website, but you can see it, and I'll try to see if I can get a picture in here so you can see as well. The insole is leather. I can feel and I can see the edge. It's very clearly leather. There's like a half sock liner in here as well that has a little bit of padding on the heel, and then it skives down to a nice smooth transition to the insole. The interior is fully leather lined. It's a very nice feeling leather, and I hate doing this, but it's the easiest way to give the most people an idea. It reminds me and kind of feels like the same leather that Grant Stone would use on the inside, which they call it kip lining. I'm not sure if this is a kip lining, but that's the feel that I get from it. All the stitching on the boot itself, joining the quarters to the vamp and the the back heel stay area, this wraparound piece here. All the stitching is very good. I've gone over it, no issues whatsoever. It has 7 eyelets that are antique brass. I think they match the boot really well. I generally like a speed hook or two. 2 speed hooks at the top is my favorite configuration. 5 eyelets, 2 speed hooks. But I will give them this one. It works well with 7 eyelets. I'm remembering just now as I'm filming this, so I could have paused it and looked it up, but hey, this is what you get with me. I'm pretty sure Kevin said something like when he releases new Shaw models and things like that, and for the Lisbons as well and other boots, he kind of decides at the time based on the leather and how it's going to be, if there's going to be speed hooks or not. So there's a little bit of variation with that. So if you absolutely had to have speed hooks, there's a chance that in the future the Shaw may have speed hooks. The counter is leatherboard, as it says on the website, and leatherboard is bits of leather mixed together with maybe other synthetic materials or glue, things like that, to bind them together. So you get some of the properties of leather, but still it's easier to mold and does save a little money. So these aren't $600 boots, and you can't use $600 materials to build boots that you sell for $359.99. So I think that's totally fine, though. The rest of the boot seems to be about as well made as it can be. So I think at $360, this is a pretty screaming value. I really do. I'm very, very impressed with not only construction of the boot, but the fit. Wonderful segue. So this is on what Kevin and Caswell call the Harris last. It's a new last that's specific to the Shaw boot, at least for now. It's based on their last and their little scale that they do. It is on the roomier side, so it has a little more room in the toe box, a little bit of a fuller toe, structured toe again. Didn't mention that earlier, but the toe is structured. So this Harris last is wonderful for my foot. I haven't tried on every last in the world. Hopefully I get a working knowledge of all last as my channel goes on. But so far for the boots that I've worn, this is either the best or tied for the best with one other boot, which you'll hear about in a couple of days. So the Harris last is wonderful. It's a real winner, and I think it's going to fit the feet of a lot of dudes or ladies. I think most people, one of the complaints I hear is, oh, this last is too narrow. I very rarely hear people say like, oh, it's too wide, or there's too much room. I can wiggle my toes too easily. So for me, the way that the shape of the bottom sort of hugs the natural contours of my foot's perfect. You get just a slight amount of touching on the sides. You can move your toes. The heel stays in place when it's fully laced. The collar up here is nice and comfortable around your ankle. And it's just absolutely marvelous. Your mileage, of course, may vary, but for me, on my foot, It's pure gold. And I hope they do more boots with the Harris last in the future, or they release, you know, a whole lot more leathers with the Shaw, because I would 100% buy another pair. I don't think I missed anything. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below and I will 100% answer them. I reply to all of the comments. And if you want to see the unboxing, what my initial thoughts were, please stick around. And again, I want to remind you, I talk about the scuffing on the toes. It's not really scuffing per se. It's just kind of how the leather acts when it's, you know, stretched and moved. So when it's lasted around that, the last, and there's a whole lot of stretching here, it's just kind of ends up looking a little bit scuffed. So keep that in mind when you're watching the unboxing, and let me know if you have any questions. Thanks a lot. Have a wonderful day. Okay, here we go with the unboxing portion. All right, Caswell quality leather goods. All right, so we've got there Shaw Predator size 10D whiskey on the Harris last. I like that it shows the last on the box, just so everyone's aware. I'm not sure I've seen that before. Maybe I've just never noticed, but that seems pretty cool. All right, so let's see what we got. Cool, we got a little message there. I'll read that later, looks like, or maybe that's the invoice. Thank you for choosing Caswell. This brand was built from our passion, and we are honored to have the opportunity to share it with you. Please do not hesitate to reach out with any question or feedback. I believe that is Kevin's signature. Thank you very much, Kevin. Oh, very cool. Got a nice, not houndstooth, that's not the right word. I'm drawing a blank on what this is called. I'll put it up here. Yeah, cool shoe bags with cool pattern. That's neat. Oh, and branded. That's a nice touch. Probably the nicest shoe bag I've seen. And here we go with the boot. Wow, cool. All right, this is my first time seeing Predator leather from Horween. The description they get, a little bit scuffing on the toe. No big deal there. It's going to get scuffed the first time I wear it. Yeah, they describe this, you know, it starts as it's a combo tan leather, so it starts being a chrome tan within a veg retan, just like Chrome Excel is. They say it is hot stuffed with waxes. See if there's any pull up. A little bit of pull up, well, maybe not really. I mean, a minuscule amount of pull up, but nothing like Chrome Excel. But then again, it's not Chrome Excel. Well, that is a very nice looking heel stack. Extremely smooth. Let's look at the welt. Check out the stitching. Really nice join. Very smooth. All right, really nice looking. Yeah, no issues there. All right, back of the boot. Side of the boot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 eyelets. Got a flat wax cotton lace. Yeah, they seem pretty good. I think pretty well matched to the boot. They give kind of a dressy vibe, but I bet as the leather wears in, it's going to be a lot less dressy. Yeah, I really like that heel stack. It's really smooth, and I like how there's complementary colors in there. All right, so this, I'm pretty excited about trying this out. This is my first actual day and night sole. So I've had, of course, the, you know, I won't call them copies, the soles inspired by this particular sole from Thursday and Grant Stone, and I really like this sole. So I'm really excited to be able to try out a real one for the first time. Let's see the stitching from the bottom. Looks like perfect spacing. Yeah, this is pretty impressive. So again, this is my, you've already seen my intro, so you know some of my other thoughts, but this is the first time actually seeing the Caswell product in person, and it looks pretty impressive so far. The only minor quibble would be a little bit of scuffing right there. But again, I'm not the kind of guy who gets a pair of boots and like the leather has to be immaculate, because I know on my first wear, when I cross my legs for the first time under a table, I get scuffs up here all the time. So that doesn't bother me in the slightest. All right, so we're getting kind of long here. Let's look at the second boot. Herringbone. Herringbone, that's what that is. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. And it looks like we got a complimentary second set of laces, the same ones that are on the boot. it looks like. Yep, same ones, very cool. I always appreciate a second pair of laces. Yeah, really like these shoe bags, those are cool. Boot bags, shoe bags. All right, so now we're looking at the right boot. Again, yeah, this is just a beautiful silhouette. I think I like the structured toe here. Yeah, and it is structured. I like the structured toe. And again, a little bit of scuffing there on the front of the boot. Yeah, that looks, yeah, not sure exactly how that happened, but yeah, a little bit of scuffing there. So if that's the kind of thing that would bug you, if you want to pick up a pair of Caswell boots, you know, make sure to shoot them an email and say, hey, please don't send me any with scuffs on the toes. But lucky for them, doesn't bother me. Beautiful. Okay, yeah, good lining up of the stitching there on the sole. Beautiful. Let's look at the welt here. Yeah, looking pretty nice. Yeah, see zero issues. Yeah, let's look inside here real quick, guys. I'm gonna undo this lace. Oh yeah, I believe the tongue here should be gusseted as well, so we will look and verify the gusseting after I get this. Oh, there we go. I couldn't get my finger around it. All right. Yeah, cool. All right. Sort of rough out there. We've got made in Spain with our control number there. Yep, there you go. Yeah, real nice lining. Yeah, I'd say that lining looks, I mean, especially from this side, you could show me that right there, and I'd say that's a Grant Stone. That sounds really nice feeling lining. Pull out the paper. In the bottom, looks like we got, it looks like we got, what do they call it, like a sock liner. That's, yep, skives down, so it's a nice smooth transition into the insole there. Of course, leather there. Yeah, feels like leather up there. And then, yeah, there's the gusseting. So it's gusseted up to the third eyelet, which is pretty good. So that should stay in place. Cool. All right. Well, that was the unboxing. This is the end of the video. If you've watched this far, really appreciate it. You already know what my thoughts are because I've told you already before this video. So thanks a lot. Have a great day.